Hello, everybody. Welcome into the NBA Front Office Show. It's Halloween, and you know what that means.
Front Office Friday! NBA Cup on Halloween edition.
NBA Cup on Halloween edition. Let's go. That's right. The NBA Cup. It is tonight kicking off. I always love it. I'm not that worried about the tournament itself, but we get some great basketball from the NBA Cup. The players, they pay extra attention to it. We get extra effort, and it is a lot of fun. It's almost like you get playoff intensity basketball in the fall, which gotta love that. Keith, we did not dress up in costumes, but we did decorate our set here. We decided to go that route, and we made it work.
Yeah, we would have been in costumes if we had hit 40,000. We said it. We just didn't get there. So, you have to have some accountability in this life. As harsh that may be, sometimes you have to be there.
We will hit that. We will hit that at some point, sometime soon. But yes, we are, as this comment says, we're very festive in here today. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Throw us your questions, your comments. This Friday show is always directed by you guys. You tell us what you want us to talk about. We'll get into a lot of different things here. But Keith, we always got to start Halloween episode. What about candy? What is your favorite Halloween candy that you can take from? I don't know. Does your daughter still do trick or treating?
It's funny. She hasn't for the last several years.
Okay.
She's actually now she's of the age where it's like, see you later. I'm going to go spend Halloween with my friends, and they are getting dressed up. I don't know if they're going out or not. I don't know what they're going to do, but we'll see. But I don't know. But yeah, she's beyond that. But favorite Halloween candy for me, I am all about some white chocolate Reese's, like the Ghost.
Good call.
Those are way up there for me.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Everybody in the chat, let us know, what is your favorite Halloween candy? Mini Snickers, that's a good one. Peanut butter Snickers. Those, it's a rarity to find it, but the mini peanut butter Snickers, those are good. The Reese's, of course, are always a favorite of mine. Skittles as well, just a classic. Reese's with the pieces.
I have not tracked down the marshmallow Butterfingers yet. Like, I really want to find them. Yeah, there's a commercial. That's the only reason I know, because it runs on. It's been running on during NBA games. It's the Headless Horseman. It stole all the Butterfingers. Yeah, anything king size. You always had that one house in the neighborhood, right, that you knew gave out the full size candy bars.
Right.
And you go and get that. What's your take on this? Candy corn?
I am a hard pass on candy corn.
See, I like it.
Really? Okay. I think it is candy corn. Let me put it to you this way. Candy corn is the pineapple of the candy world. You either love it or you hate it. It's very polarizing. It's it's pineapple on pizza, right? You either think it completely belongs or it does not at all, and you want it nowhere near you. I'm on the latter side on candy corn. I'm out on that.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I really don't mind a little bit of candy corn every once in a while. I don't want a ton of it, but yeah. Yeah, we're not at least in the Smith house, we don't make the kind of money to be handing out the full size candy bars. That's like one of my dreams in life, is to just hand out full size candy bars. Like someday we're going to get there. So everybody subscribe and keep those super chats coming.
Get the super chats coming. And then Keith can hand out full size. He could be that house handing out the full size candy bars on Halloween. All right, everybody, let's get into some of your questions, some of your comments. We'll talk some hoops here.
More Halloween in a little bit.
We do have some more Halloween comments in there, questions. Jay asks, what do you think is the biggest surprise for the season so far? I could think of a few things already. Let me throw out there's one, and I think ESPN highlighted this a little bit. The Miami Heat's offense. You know, in a league where a lot of people are running so many pick and rolls, to kind of be a new take on the Memphis Grizzlies offense from last season, which Jake LaRavia actually talked to us about over the summer when he was in that car with Austin Reeves, talked about how much he enjoyed that offense. The Miami Heat are doing that, and they are really flying up and down the floor and putting up a lot of points. I think that's been a surprise, how successful Miami has been with their new look offense.
Yeah, without a doubt. Chicago being 4-0.
Sure.
One of the remaining undefeated teams. That's certainly a surprise. Philly also being undefeated. At this point, it's not, where nothing's obviously locked in, but great starts for those teams. On the disappointing surprise team, I think Orlando, they maybe got back on track a little bit last night with a win over Charlotte. But they've been disappointing to open the year. And then we all know why. It's just the ridiculous number of injuries. But the Pacers have had it just start to the year as well.
Yeah, the Pacers 0-4 right now on the season. That's certainly been a disappointing surprise. Keith, I know he's amazing, but can we say Wemby is a surprise? Like, I mean, just the way that he's been playing, like that's got to be some kind. And the Spurs being 5-0 right now, that's got to be a big surprise, right?
Sure. Yeah, I certainly didn't have him at that level. I know some others did, but I thought we have a couple Spurs related questions, so we can go to those next here from Jetman. Seems like Wemby might actually take Spurs to at least the play-in. Yeah, I think that's done. Like they're certainly going to be in the play-in.
Yeah, at
the bare minimum, if not further. They've looked pretty good, and I highlighted it today on Twitter and in the piece for the Basketball Bulletin. Dylan Harper is really playing well. He's really making some high-level passing reads. Stephon Castle, now that Harper is getting more time, Castle's just slowing down a little bit. He's starting to chill a little, and that part is looking good for him. And they've done all this without De'Aaron Fox. Let's see how that looks when he gets added to the mix. But for now, things looking pretty good with San Antonio. So I'm pretty excited for them and where they may go.
Yeah, they've been fantastic. The play-in, it's a very, very crowded Western Conference. Of course, I don't expect the Timberwolves, when the dust settles, to be on the outside looking in the way they are right now. The Mavs, I still think, have better basketball ahead of them, especially when they eventually get Kyrie Irving back. But given how crowded the West is, I still think San Antonio, to start their off too, you look at the point differential. Yeah, they had some easier matchups, but still, like Wemby by himself is going to win them a number of games, or at least keep them close in games and give them a shot. And then you've got enough of the other young guys that are playing well enough to where I think we can say the Spurs. Like, is it too soon? We're 5 games in, but we talked about the Spurs being the team that had the most upward mobility to jump into that next tier of West, not the OKC tier, maybe not the Denver, Houston tier, but jump into that next tier of teams that are kind of competing for, I mean, depending on how we see Houston now, maybe the 3 through 7 spot. Are the Spurs now firmly in that group? Have they made that jump?
Yeah, they have for me, and I don't usually change that quickly, but Wembanyama being this, and they're there now. Like, he is just so good. It'll only be health that'll knock them out, and really it's his health. Ultimately, like he's just unbelievable. Like, him being this good is really a place where it feels like they're there in that mix now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think they're making that leap. It may turn out that last year was the last year for the Spurs to not be in the mix for a long, long time. Because of
how suffering Spurs fans were down for so long.
I was so upset when I'm like, just don't go to San Antonio. Go east, Wemby. Don't go to San Antonio. No, it was like when the draft was LeBron and you knew he was going to wind up in Cleveland. Derrick Rose winding up in Chicago. You just knew it was going to happen, and you're hoping that it doesn't. But everything's moving in slow motion, and you can't do anything to prevent it. That was the horror movie of the draft for Western Conference teams anyway that year.
One of my favorite Spurs stats was at one point in I believe it was their first 44 years of NBA existence. Because they were an ABA team ahead of that, but in their first 44 NBA seasons, they missed the playoffs 4 times in 44 years. One of those years they got David Robinson. Another one of those years they got Tim Duncan. So that's
unreal.
That's how you string together just complete span of excellence. From there.
Front Office Friday Halloween edition. This question says, let's talk about something scary. Does anyone in the West have a chance against Wembanyama? I mean, a chance, yes, but it's a pun intended. It's a tall task to beat the San Antonio Spurs.
Well done. The Thunder are, the Thunder is still the best team. It's important to remember the Thunder are 6-0 as we start out the season, and Jalen Williams hasn't touched the floor yet. And in every game, they've been missing at least 1 or 2 other rotation players other than Jalen Williams. So they're they're the champs for a reason. And we'll see what it looks like when they eventually play the Spurs. We'll see what it looks like when Denver plays San Antonio as well. And that's just in the Western Conference. But yeah, Spurs are really good. Wembanyama is incredible. And we'll see kind of where it goes once they get into those other teams.
Right. Yeah. And there'll be some big marquee matchups for San Antonio. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. San Antonio wound up with a Christmas Day matchup this year, didn't they?
Yeah, I believe so.
Who did they get? Because that could be
they did. It's the Thunder.
Oh, is it?
That's a good one.
Yes. Let's go. That's going to be a blast.
Christmas Day is pretty good. It's Cavs Knicks in the noon Eastern spot kicking off the day. Should be pretty good. Hopefully both will be much healthier by then. Then Spurs Thunder in the midday. Mavericks Warriors. We'll see if the Mavs can get it together by then. Then we get the little break. Then Rockets and Lakers, and then Timberwolves Nuggets. Like,
that's going to be a good day.
Let's go.
It's going to be a good day. I am I enjoy Halloween, but I'm even bigger into Christmas, So as soon as tomorrow, I'm going to turn the page and start getting into Christmas. I kind of just skip right past Thanksgiving and all that, and get into Christmas. So I'm already thinking ahead to the Christmas Day games. That's going to be a lot of fun.
We're already having the discussion on when we're going to put up our Christmas stuff, because we have we used to be very much like day after Thanksgiving family, but we have like 15 things going on right after Thanksgiving. One of the cool things we're doing on Black Friday, the U.S. women's soccer team is playing one of their final matches of the season here in Orlando. So we're going to that.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be really fun. But yeah, we've got just stuff going on that whole weekend. So we're already talking about like, hey, we might go early this year and just, kind of do exactly what you said, just right from Halloween right into Christmas.
Well, and it is a late Thanksgiving this year. Yeah. Just like last year, I think was the latest it can possibly be.
This year.
Oh, is it this year? Oh, I flipped them. So it is a very late Thanksgiving. So I don't think I want more time with Christmas decorations. I don't think I'm going to wait till Thanksgiving to put up my Christmas decorations this year. I think I'm going to put them up.
It might have been last year. You might be right on that. Yeah, it was last year. I only know because my sister's birthday is the 29th, and her birthday can never be on Thanksgiving because the latest it can be is the 28th. So you had it right. I was off a day this year.
All right, let's go to we did biggest surprise. Let's go here. NBA Halloween question. Which team that's playing well other than Chicago is the most likely to turn into a pumpkin? So we talk about the teams that are playing well. Here's the standings right now. You've got Portland, maybe in the 5 seed as a team to consider there. We've got, Memphis is 3-2 in the 6 seed. There, they've got a lot of injuries there. The Jazz at 2-2. I know we wouldn't have predicted that going into the season. What about in the East? Well, obviously Philly sitting at the 2 seed.
If we're taking Chicago out, I would say it's Philly.
Yeah, it's got to be Philly.
Because if injuries hit the wrong players, like that could just sink down.
Is VJ Edgecombe for real?
Yeah, I think so. I loved VJ Edgecombe from the first time I saw him play. Then when he played for the Bahamas in that Olympic qualifying tournament, I was super excited. I didn't get as down on him as some did after a very messy season at Baylor. But his play so far, none of it is like, it's not like it has been propped up by ridiculous shooting or anything like that. He's shooting well, but it's shooting that we should expect to sustain. Right. I think his playmaking, that'll be where the biggest growth will come in for him. But yeah, I'm big fan of VJ Edgecombe. Him and Tyrese Maxey have just been absolutely incredible. Everything they're doing is what's propelled this great start for Philly.
While we're talking about the 76ers, we got a question here that said, probably not, but any chance the 76ers can get off of Paul George or Joel Embiid, those contracts, those may be, depending, we could have the discussion, but maybe the 2 worst contracts in the NBA and both on the same team right now. That's tough. Moving them would not be easy.
Yeah, I don't know how you would move them.
But you never say never.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff happens all the time. No contract is truly untradeable. What it would have to be probably more with Embiid than George would be some team that says, you know what, we can get him healthy, or we have enough talent after a trade that we can live with 50 games of Joel Embiid and managing him through a season and get him to the postseason healthy. But I mean, we're talking, I mean, his extension doesn't even kick in till next year. And that's going to be right now projected $58 million. So that's stuff. I mean, look at that. Look at that player option sitting out there in 28, 29 at 67.4 million. Like that's tough, man. I mean, he'll be what, like 34, 35 by then? Like that's just, I don't even know. The purple means it's an estimate. Anytime you see a contract tagged in purple, it's an estimate because so Embiid's on a 35% of the cap max. So what that means is we don't know because we don't know what the cap's going to settle at.
Right.
Yeah. And then when we're in the season, if we have a good idea of what the contract will be, we'll put it in. But it stays purple until I've had a chance to confirm what the actual numbers are.
Right. So that'll be just based on what the projections are going to be, and then that'll change as we actually get to the season itself. But look, we tend to live in a world of extremes. So people jump into that's a great contract, that's a terrible contract, you can never ever trade it. But I mean, there was a time, Keith, when Joe Johnson was an untradeable contract, and then he got traded. Right? Like we've seen a lot of guys who are labeled as untradeable still wind up getting moved at some point. Sometimes it means taking on worse money or something, but stuff happens in the NBA. The unexpected can occur. So you don't want to look at any contract and say that's unmovable. But I think especially in this environment under the current collective bargaining agreement, it's going to be very challenging to find any team willing to take on Embiid or Paul George, just given what they're producing right now. I just don't see that being a realistic
without
option.
a doubt. Yeah, it's just really hard. And the same thing with Paul George. I mean, we haven't even seen him play yet. Good question here. Embiid isn't retiring, leaving hundreds of millions on the table. Can the Sixers force a medical retirement? No, they cannot. Because think about how bad that would be, right? Anytime a team was like, man, this guy's got a really terrible contract. Oh, we don't like, we made a mistake. He has a back problem. And then they force the guy to retire. No, you can't force any kind of medical retirement. That's strictly on the player side. And then if the player does retire, it's a whole year before you can even ask for cap relief anyway. So
God, this is key. That makes me, it reminds me of like the Monty Python and the Holy Grail sketch. I'm not dead yet. Joel Embiid. I don't want to go on the cart.
I love it. I always think of like when I was thinking about this with the Pacers, when they're like when the Knights are fighting and he's like, come back. And he's like hopping around on one leg, cut his arms off and everything.
It's only a scratch.
Yeah, it's just about a scratch.
All right, let's go here. Oh, this is a fun one. Favorite scary, do you like scary movies?
No,
I don't
not at all. Yeah, no, not even a little bit.
I'm not a big fan of scary movies.
Yeah, I don't mind like a thriller or like a movie like I don't know how people feel about these, but like an M. Night Shyamalan type scary-ish movie with a twist. But yeah, things that are designed to be like jump scares and just really scare you. Like I'm out. I also don't like this is so weird. I don't like a ton of like just straight gore. Like I need to have I don't mind like gratuitous violence in movies. Like the John Wick movies and those kind of things. Like that's whatever. That's the three. One of my favorite movies is 300. But there's like that's with like a point, right?
This is Sparta.
Yeah. One of my favorite. That's one of my favorite things to do is like if somebody's getting going, I'll be like, "This is madness," and then like, "This is Sparta."
So a long time ago,
I love that.
In a galaxy far, far away, I spent about a year running a childcare center. And this was during the Great Recession. There were no teaching jobs available and all that. So I was running a childcare center. And we had these kids. We would do call and response stuff with the kids to get their attention. And a friend of mine that was working with me, we loved movies and movie quotes and all of that. So we decided we're going to make our call and response stuff some fun movie quotes. So we had these third graders and we would yell, "This is madness." And then in all their 50 little voices, "This is Sparta."
I love it.
It was absolutely fantastic. I loved it.
The Battle of Thermopylae was my go-to project for history classes from like fourth grade on. So like if it was like you got to do a diorama of a famous battle or something like that, and it wasn't just because I was like, oh, I'd already done the work on it. That whole idea of a very small army holding off this massive army and the Spartan lifestyle and all that, that just captured my imagination as a kid, like very little else. So hey, we got a little breaking news.
Little breaking news.
Yeah.
Should we hit the? We should hit the.
Yeah,
button.
we haven't hit the button.
Let's hit the button. Here we go.
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Horrifying is appropriate for Halloween. By the way, sorry, but I still have not gone in and turned down the volume on that one.
We're not gonna. Don't.
Apologies for your ears. Luka Doncic and Marcus Smart have been upgraded to probable for tonight. Yeah. Luka Doncic,
horrifying for the Grizzlies.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great. That's
great. Great news for everybody else who's looking for a better game, hopefully. So that'll be good. I'm excited.
Keith, like when we talk about scary movies, does like Jurassic Park count? Because that has like some scary moments.
Yeah, I don't think
like that kind of stuff. I'm good with.
I tend to think of scary movie like true like horror movies, and not like old school horror movies. Like I like those. I was so excited when Universal, like it was pre-pandemic, had announced like they were gonna reboot the MonsterVerse and like bring back like.
And then they did Dracula Untold.
Yeah, and then they just kind of
and the Mummy
out. They didn't do it.
Turned into a mess, and yeah.
I was super excited for that because I kind of like that like type of horror as long as it wasn't going to turn into again like a bunch of jump scares and like the Saw movies. A bunch of people are saying things like The Ring in the chat. Like I'm out. I'm not watching any stuff like that. Sorry, it's just. I'm old and I scare easily and I don't want to be scared.
It's the like the demonic stuff that I'm not a fan of. But like I thought one was I think it's called The Others. When Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, my
that okay, where it's not trying to be over the top scary. Those kinds of things.
Yep.
I don't mind. Okay, let's go here. D.A. Baraka said, after a couple of weeks, do either of you want a mulligan on your predictions so far?
I was too low on the Spurs, and I knew it when I said it, too high on the stupid Clippers.
Stupid. You're already bad at the. Are you out on the Clippers already?
No, I'm not out. I'm just like, I don't know. I should have picked them lower. I don't know.
The Spurs, though, we talked about like they're the team that could make a jump. We just want to see them do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we can say they're certainly doing it right now. The only other thing, like I was maybe too high on the Mavs, but I'm still not totally out on Dallas. Like I still think they can turn it around. But I was high on them. I was hoping the Pelicans with Zion would be a bit better.
Yeah, I was pretty low. They were going to be.
You were low on them. I was at least thinking they could be
a little too high on Boston and Indiana. I had them as playing teams. Probably not me there. Magic. I think the Magic will still be okay.
But Indy, like at least you could say they've been getting crushed by just one injury after another. Like even like we already knew they were going to be with that Halliburton, but they've been hit by even more injuries since then. So yeah. So that at least there's a little bit of an excuse there. I don't know. I don't really have anything that I feel bad about prediction wise. I also think 4 or 5 games in, there's a lot of noise in that too.
Yep. I will say, come back, D.A. Baracus. Just I love this guy's name so much. Come back and ask this question in like 2 more weeks. We're like a month into the season and we'll, have a little bit better.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the idea of kind of checking in on that as we go.
Sure. All right, let's go. Oh, what did your wife? I always look forward to this every year. What did your wife and daughter carve for pumpkins this year?
Yeah, they're working on them right now. So today fell as a student holiday for our daughter's school.
Oh, that's fortunate.
Yeah. I honestly think it was she goes to a private school with a like pretty. It's not super strict dress code, but like there's no costumes allowed on Halloween or any of that stuff. And I think they're just like, we're not putting up with this nonsense. Well, we got to get a student holiday and we're just doing it. So they're carving right now. My daughter did or I think I've probably mentioned here, I know you know,
Mhm.
my daughter is a huge fan of F1, like to like the level of like my fandom of the NBA. Like she knows everything there is to know about F1, including like she'll be watching and it's like, oh, that guy's car, and she's like, well, they changed the wing angle and height and all these where I'm like, I don't even understand any of this stuff.
Right. I
So
wouldn't either.
yeah, so she loves it. So she did an F1 pumpkin, and my wife is doing a haunted mansion series. So
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
assuming
fall.
you're going to take pictures of those
Oh, of
and post
course,
them.
yeah. Once they're done, and it gets nice and dark out. We'll get all the pictures of one of them. I'm not gonna spoil it, but one is it's pretty ambitious, but like I've seen how she's putting it together, and it's cool. All I'll say is double decker pumpkin. Like think, like
Oh,
yeah.
are you
Big
gonna?
time.
Can you commit to posting those on social so we can
Yeah,
direct people
100%.
there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they'll be up on Twitter and Blue Sky, when they're done.
They are amazing every
Yeah.
year. They're so
They
awesome.
if you guys think I'm good at like knowing the CBA, like they take that and like with pumpkins, and it's like they're a billion times better at that than I am at anything I could ever try to do.
And then meanwhile, I'm buying the pre-made, like you just stick stuff on the pumpkin. That's my
I couldn't even do that.
that's my
Yeah.
pumpkin skills right there.
My
Uh,
art skills are less than zero. I'm not kidding. Like I don't think I could draw like a good circle. Like it'd be a little bumpy and it probably wouldn't connect right. And it'd just be messy.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. It's not one of my talents for sure. All right, let's go here. We'll do a little cap question. Matt says, "What are the requirements to get a disabled player exception, and would Atlanta be able to get one if Trae Young is out long term?" So scary situation with Trae. Again, hopefully he'll wind up being okay.
Yeah, we're still waiting
but-
on news a couple
Yeah.
days later.
Right. So a disabled player exception, we actually talked about this the other day.
Mhm.
The NBA just has to have an independent medical panel agreed that most likely the player will not be able to play for the remainder of the season. And if that
Yeah.
turns out to be untrue, then oh well, you get the benefit of it. But you would just have to have doctors say, yeah, he is most likely out for the remainder of the year in order to qualify for that disabled player exception.
Yep. And then if he comes back, great. It's there. So right now, Atlanta not even thinking about that, right? They're hoping that this is let's measure Trae Young's absence in weeks, maybe even less. Ideally, if everything really goes well. But we'll see with that. But yeah, it's they are going to get that checked out, and then we'll see if it's determined. Yeah, if he is a serious injury, he's gonna miss the rest of the year. They'll absolutely apply for a disabled player exception.
And then what's the limit they can get on that? That's the MLE, isn't it?
Yeah, so it caps out at it's half of the player's salary with a cap of the non-taxpayer MLE.
Okay, so about 14 million-ish, just
Yep.
over 14 million that Atlanta would have to potentially go spend if Trae Young is indeed considered to be out for the, which again, hopefully that is not the path we wind up going down here, especially heading into a contract year for him.
Yep.
All right, let's go here. Why doesn't Detroit just sign Beasley for 1 year? They need shooting so bad, and Ivy can get healthy. Investigations could take years, so why not? The NBA might have an issue with that.
Yeah, and if it turns out that something happens and they could sign him and it could turn right into cool, you signed him, now he goes right on this leave like Terry Rozier is on, and that's not that. Then that was a waste of money. For right now, they're gonna let it sit. Like there's no guarantee that he would be able to play again. Malik Beasley, the wording of some of the reporting was that he was cleared, and then they came out and said, whoa, he was not cleared. He's just no longer the main point of the investigation. Like there was never any clearing that was done there.
Right, exactly. I don't know if you saw the post on Instagram that Beasley had the other day. Sounded like, some tough times and everything that he's been dealing with. I hope whatever happens, I really hope it turns out that there was no wrongdoing. Everything is a mistake. It's still tough for him. He lost his contract. He lost a sponsorship deal, all this stuff that's been going on with him, his personal life and everything else. But I hope that nothing is here. But we also know, like usually, kind of like with the Terry Rozier situation, when you get this far down the road, there's probably something going on there. We'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go here. can we talk about how great the coverage for the NBA on NBC and Prime have been so far? They've been a blast.
Good. Yeah, so good. Both of them. I was talking about this on radio in Memphis yesterday. That segment.
Did you do Gabe's show?
Yeah, I did not do Gabe's show.
Okay,
It was the show Gabe used to be on, to his former station. But I was talking about that segment they did. It wasn't this week's, but it was last week on Amazon, where they went out to their court and Steve Nash broke down the angle pick and roll, which you hear mentioned constantly. It's just a staple action, but he broke down very simply, like, this is what it means. And then Blake Griffin and Udonis Haslem were like, and then this is how you cover it from the big man approach, because they both play in that spot. And then Dirk was like, and you would lift here, as a shooter. It was awesome. It was such good stuff. And it was really like simple, but really educational, which, I know for you and I means a lot to us, but yeah, really, really good with that. And then I think the fact that the studio shows they're focused on those games that are coming up. Not just I get it, guys. We love trade rumors as much as anybody else.
Yep.
Like it's there. Like, we are in a spot where it is, we love that stuff, but I also like when it's, hey, we could talk about Giannis trades when something happens. Right. We'll come for that. So yeah, I'm a big fan of what they've done.
Yeah, they're making the game certainly fun, and it's more. I think it's more in line with the way you and I approach the game and covering the game as well. Not that either one of us are particularly X's and O's heavy. I think we can walk in that world to a degree, but in terms of not the hyper negative hot take type of stuff, that's just throwing stuff out there to get attention with that. So it definitely, I think, fits with what the kind of content that we produce, the kind of content that we do, because this is the kind of content that we enjoy. And I think it falls more in line with that as compared to what we see on some other platforms. And look, there's plenty of room for debate. There's plenty of room for all different types of ways to cover the game. But it's refreshing to see something a little bit different on the national level like that.
I think it helps too. All these guys have played recently enough that none of them are just dumping on the game constantly, right? Not a lot of this. Well, back in my day, kind of thing.
Exactly. Okay, let's go here. Where did it go? There it is. Roberto said, to get to know you guys a bit more, are you guys fans of history? And if so, what's your favorite time to study? Well, I taught history for 13 years. I taught mostly junior high. I did teach a few high school classes as well, but I taught history for 13 years. So yeah, I'm a fan of history. But to me, the thing that really got me about history was the storytelling. That was my favorite part of it, and getting kids engaged that way by sharing some of the truly amazing things. I really enjoyed the American Revolution, covering that time period, as well as World War II. Both of those I liked a lot in terms of just being able to present some truly amazing things that happened in both areas, as well as some truly tragic things, and just being able to see the impact that it makes on students. So those are the two that I'd say I prefer.
Yeah, my favorite subject always was history. Growing up as a kid all the way through school, I actually, before I went to Disney and did an internship with Disney and came back with, I'm going to work for Disney, my plan, I had already was in process of changing my major to history along with education. I was going to get a double major, and my plan was I was going to teach history and coach. That was just what I was going to do. Then
That's exactly what I did.
Yep. Came to Disney, did an internship, and went in a little bit of a different path that way. But I love it. The second part, what's my favorite time to study? It really kind of depends on the mood I'm in. I sometimes go through these periods of time where it is, I had a period of life where I couldn't read enough and learn enough about the Civil War. Mm-hmm. Like, I just wanted to know everything that there was to be told about the Civil War. Then I went through that with World War II. I already talked about it. The Battle of Thermopylae has always captured my imagination, especially because so much of that is storytelling, right? We're not grand written records about those things, and there's no newscasts and film to go watch on what that was like. So there is sometimes with that, but yeah, it really does hit me in a different way. I just those things are it's all important, and I always think about, it's so strange that it came in this movie, but when they're in, I think it's Mighty Ducks 3, and they are in the private school, and the history teacher is talking about the dwarf riding on the shoulders of a giant.
Of the giant, yep.
And then if he stays locked in, basically he gets the view of all of history, and if he falls off, he'll get crushed under it. And it was basically kind of a longer way to say, those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it.
Absolutely.
I really do believe that.
I used to tell my students every single day, don't lose sight of the fact that every day when you wake up, you have and this is true literally every single day when you wake up, you now have at your disposal more information in your pocket than any of the great thinkers in all of human history ever had access to.
Yep.
And that's an incredible and powerful thing. And I think you and I benefit that we both come from an era before the internet, and we remember what time was like before then. We remember riding our bikes down to the library to do research projects and all that sort of stuff that we had to do, while also understanding this incredible tool that we have at our disposal, this tool that is allowing us to communicate now with this audience and do all of this. So we have access to so much information of what's come before. And it helps us so much figure out where we're going. Yep. And it also helps us to understand what has worked in the past and to learn from what hasn't, as well as what hasn't worked, and not repeat the same mistakes over and over again. So it's incredible. And that was the other thing I like to impress upon students. Hey, we went in one person's lifespan, to think about how quickly humanity has advanced. In one person's lifespan, we went from barely being able to get off the ground to putting a man on the moon.
Yeah.
And you look at how far where things are advancing now. You never want to lose sight of what we've got ahead of us, what we have available to us right now, and all the sacrifice that it took to get to where we are.
I think about my great grandmother. She was born in the 1800s, and she lived very long life. And she went from
your grandmother was
great grandmother.
Oh, great grandmother. Okay.
She went from a car in where she would, the town she lived in was a huge deal. And there were very, very few of them. And then she went to, when she was much older in life, we brought a laptop to the nursing home she was living in to go over some maps of where she grew up. And she just just that, right? A car to we could put a computer in front of her and show her. And she was that was where my house was on this street. And, and watching this woman who was, I think at the time she was 101, and she just lit up, and you could see parts, I think, of her brain that had not been activated in a long, long time. And she was that was my street. And she had told this story. My dad remembered it from when he was a little kid, all the way through when I was a little kid, of how the whole way to walk uphill both ways
in the snow,
all that stuff. But she would talk about how they had to walk around the lake to go to school, and they couldn't wait. She grew up in Maine, and they couldn't wait for the lake because then they cut the time in half to get to school. And watching her show us on this map, this street is where my house was, and then this was the lake, and all those things. It was really cool.
That's so cool.
It was it was really great. I I absolutely love the whole thing with history. Somebody said we should do a history podcast. That's I just don't have time to even remotely do anything like that correctly. It would be fun, but we barely have enough time to get through it. And then somebody else, D.A. Baracus, how did people do research before Wikipedia? Went to the library, my man.
You went to the library.
And you might have pulled down. You know what was tough when we were kids? You would pull out the encyclopedia, and you hoped you could get one that was fairly new.
Oh, yeah.
Because the thing that really stuck for me, and I promise I'm not trying to make light of it or be funny or anything like that, they are like the African countries changed so much in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Like when we would have been studying that from like, that's not a country anymore, or the name change and all those things. You hoped you had a a fairly up to date encyclopedia to do a report on if you had to, or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, that was always the thing, was having to go to the library. I remember making photocopies of encyclopedia pages at the library so I could take them home. So I'd have the information with me so I could write the report, and have to pay, 10 cents a copy or whatever it was.
Yep. And hope some idiot didn't rip them out, right?
Yes.
That would have been the problem. Yeah.
Yep. And
my
now,
parents were 100%.
Just hop on your phone.
Yeah, that's it.
And you've got all that information.
Yeah, this thing has more information in it than anything else. So,
Absolutely.
my parents were like, we are not buying encyclopedias, because my dad would say, he's like, those things are out of date, by the time they're printed. So,
Yep.
Yeah, we moved off
we did. We went on a little Halloween tangent. That's okay.
Side quest.
That's okay. All right, let's see here. Let's get into
basketball question.
Here's this one. Will the NBA NCAA put in guardrails for G League players going to college?
All right, let's start with, I don't think this is the problem it's being made out to be. Like, I think people are getting way too worked up about a couple of guys. Like, one, the NBA, they don't care. Like, the NBA would be perfectly happy if the NCAA just allowed anybody to play and paid guys and did all kinds of stuff. The NBA sees the NCAA as, that is our recruitment pool. Like, we don't necessarily care, about the fairness of all of this. Like, that's good. Nothing to do with that. I know that sounds super callous, but that is, 100% the way it is. NCAA, yeah, there's going to be some stuff that comes down, I am sure, because the NCAA is, the coaches want to control the game there. They want to push things. And here's the thing, the coaches who are screaming and yelling about a guy, whether it be coming from the G League to play in college, or some of them don't like some of these guys coming over from Europe that are getting paid. That is like, it's so funny, because the ones who scream and yell the loudest, oh, you don't have them. That's why you're mad. If you had them, you wouldn't have anything to say. You didn't get those guys, so now you're angry. So kind of is what it is with that, though. I'm sure they'll push and they'll try to do something, but let's not make this out like it is some massive problem that is, ruining college sports. It just isn't.
Yeah. It's not, but it's less sensational that way. All right. Any more news on expansion?
Yeah, not really.
I mean, Adam Silver has talked a little bit about it. He's not. Adam Silver is kind of keeping it afloat, right? He's not saying this is a full go. He's not sinking it either. He's making, hey, this is something we're going to discuss.
And he did say, it was kind of in response to, has the European League stuff taken over for expansion. He's like, no, that they're two separate things. Like, we're still moving forward, with exploring both. So I think that is, I think that's, where that is. So.
All right, let's go. Do owners want expansion? It depends on the owner.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, it's, the expansion fees have to be high enough to make it worth it to them to split the revenue pie two more ways.
Yeah, that's it. It's a math question, right? It's, would you rather have X amount of dollars right now in a lump sum, or know that over the next 2-3 decades, however long you want to project out, you're going to be getting a 1/30th share of the revenue instead of a 1/32nd share. Yep. And it's figuring out the math. And some owners will say, yep, I would prefer to have the money right now, and I'll deal with a little bit less each year moving forward. Others will say no, with the projected growth and that's you have to project out growth and all of that. It's a big math problem, and you have to decide what's going to be best for me, on top of what's best for the game in terms of growing the sport. Is this going to increase our audience size? Is this going to be good for the league as a whole? It's a complicated issue that they really have to dig deep into to figure out what the answer is. And once again, one owner to another, they may differ in how they view the situation.
Yep. And is there a chance owners don't actually allow expansion? Would the league step in? The owners are the league.
Yeah.
Like that's when we say the
Adam
league,
Silver works for them.
Yeah, Adam Silver works for the owners. The NBA can't say we're expanding. Too bad if the owners don't like it. If enough owners are say nope, not on board, the expansion doesn't go. Like owners are the league. There's no NBA without the owners. There's obviously also no NBA without the players.
Sure.
And the players don't have a vote on expansion like that, but they would definitely there'd be some negotiation that comes. I'm starting to kind of think we might see it now kind of tied when a new CBA comes in, which is it sounds like I know it feels like we only just started this CBA, but we're only a few more years out from the next round of negotiations. So but yeah, there's no owners saying no, and then Adam Silver says, too bad. We're gonna have
we're doing it anyway.
Yeah, we're doing it anyway. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. All right, let's go. How do you view? So this question, it's a good question. I don't know if it's one we can answer right now. How do you view Adam Silver's legacy? The NBA has grown exponentially, but will he be remembered for the scandals more than the growth? His tenure is not over at the helm of the NBA as the commissioner. So we'll see where ultimately that lands. And I think how he handles these situations will be very, very important. But I don't think we can have the legacy conversation right now when that story is not done being written.
Yeah, I think too there's people are, and I think it's some of it is just they weren't around for some of this stuff. Like, and even the start of Bird and Magic was like right at the beginning of our, even semi understanding of stuff. But if you look into the history, I mean, the NBA in the 70s and early part of the 80s, like there's a question like, is this league even going to survive? So many of the players were heavy into drugs and like not like smoking weed. Like there was like rampant cocaine use throughout the league and like things that just were really bad. And it was just really there was a question. And David Stern came in and did some of it, but there's some stuff that David Stern has not thought of very fondly, like some things that were allowed to happen under his watch that people bring up. I mean, I think being a sports commissioner is a really tough job because it's almost it's almost like a no-win, right? It's almost like a, how do you, figure this, with it. So I think that's the tough part with this. So yeah. I'll just say this back to the expansion question. The league expands by 2 teams. Only one team needs to move to the East. It's just math. it's just math, guys.
That would put if you add 2 teams to the West and you move 1 team East, that puts you at 16 and 16 in each conference.
Yep.
So that's why. And we say 2 teams to the West because the heavy favorites, if they add 2 teams, would be Seattle and Las Vegas.
Yep, without a doubt. What happens to the contract when taken by an expansion team? Is it 100% transferred and off the previous team's books? Absolutely. Yep. That's why sometimes you see guys where it's like, that guy's kind of okay. Why did they put him in the expansion? Like, if we were doing an expansion draft this summer, there's a good chance Joel Embiid and Paul George are unprotected. And the Sixers are like, hey, you want to take them off our hands?
I mean, they can even incentivize. Hey, here's a pick if you take these guys,
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, it's
Well, one of them, you can't take 2.
Yep, that's exactly how it starts to come with that, stuff there. I do find this an interesting question with how much third-party investors are uncovering from the NBA. Kawhi and Rozier, do start to lose faith the NBA will be able to find evidence in future scandals. I mean, some of what is good about the legalized gambling is this stuff does get caught. Like when it is something weird comes in, a whole bunch of under bets on a single player, it does get flagged now. And that's different from just me giving money to a guy in the back alley of a bar and, placing my bets that way. So that part is good. But I mean, it was very clearly made. The federal government has access and tools and resources that the NBA does not have when they do an investigation. That's why they were able to get some of the stuff that the NBA, can't get to. That's kind of how that, process works there with that. I misread the question a little bit is like, I thought it meant, do we start to lose faith in the NBA? Are you losing faith in Major League Baseball? We had pitchers who were on suspension who very clearly, like, because you can bet on what the first pitch of an at bat will be.
Oh,
and
yeah.
threw the baseball, basically should have turned around and thrown the pitch into center field. It was so far
Right.
away from the plate to make sure those bets won if you bet ball. And we're there, like I'm not losing faith in base. I mean, Major League Baseball had an entire World Series thrown. Like the championship series in baseball bounced back. I think you act swiftly, you act harshly, you punish to the maximum extent if proven, and that's where you go with this. And then
Exactly.
you move forward. But I'm just not naive enough to think that any of this ends here. This is gonna come up in other sports. I mean, I love soccer, but soccer has, soccer scandals are, make this NBA stuff look laughable. Like it is, crazy with that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. This question said, can you guys do a mock NBA expansion, even if it doesn't make sense time-wise?
Yeah, maybe in the summer.
In the summer. Yeah, that would be a summer. Unless expansion got announced, like then that's a different, then we'd obviously would do them. But that could be a summertime activity for us, for sure.
Yeah, that'd be a fun August thing.
Is Luka in tonight? Well, the Lakers did just about 5 minutes ago issue the press release saying he is being upgraded to probable. So that's not definite 100% he's in, but if a guy goes from questionable to probable, that's a pretty good sign they're going to play.
Yeah, I have kind of always followed the rule of thumb that a game day upgrade or a game day downgrade from like probable to questionable or from questionable up to probable is usually a sign that's where it's trending for the player. You go down, but more likely they're going to be out. You go up, more likely they're going to be in. And this is coming on the heels of a shoot around today, which is even more, good news that hopefully they'll play with that. So
what was funny, Keith, is that I talked about this on the show last night for Lakers Nation. People were saying, well, but Luka wasn't with the team in Minnesota, therefore he's not on the road trip. He's not going to play in Memphis. I'm like, you don't think the Lakers have the resources to get Luka on a plane and fly him to Memphis?
Pretty certain they could find a way to get him there.
I think they could make that happen.
Yeah. We've seen guys go much further distances than that.
Yeah,
to play in games. It's not like Luka was standing around at the airport waiting on standby for a direct flight.
Oh, sorry, the flights were full. He couldn't make it.
Sorry, we'll try to get you on the next one, Mr. Doncic. Here's a $5 food voucher for the food court.
We're gonna sit you and coach right back by the restrooms.
Yeah, but all right, but the good news is your luggage went on the last flight, so you can pick that up when you get there.
Oh man! All right, let's go. I want to do at least one last one. We should do some final Halloween topics.
Yeah. I think there was maybe a couple. I don't know. Maybe we did get them already. Oh, we'll do this basketball one. Do we play fantasy basketball? Yeah. And if so, would you do a league we could join? Maybe we'll do that next year. Maybe we'll do a league. I don't want to start it once we're in season. So remind us in like September to do this. I do play in a couple fantasy basketball leagues. If you ask the people I'm in with them, they would tell you I'm the worst because it's usually sometime around the middle of November. I forget, and then I don't set lineups for like weeks and all that, and it just ends up a mess. So
I'm at that spot with fantasy football. Like I've been so busy with basketball this year, and obviously have multiple projects going on and all that. That I'm like. I was that guy that was listening to all the fantasy football podcasts and had my lineup set, and I'm sending out trade offers every week and all that. And now I'm like having a tough time just making sure my lineup's set, and that's about it. I haven't followed football news, and it's so because it's just all basketball right now. So, fantasy basketball league, I'd be in the same situation as you, Keith, where at least I'm already locked into what's going on around the league as opposed to football, but. Like setting my lineup, responding to trades, all that kind of, I think it would probably wind up falling by the wayside.
Yeah, I can say, I know you know this because we've talked about this outside of the show before, but the only way I'm able to do any of what I do successfully is I have to be extremely intentional with my time. And what I mean by that is like I am down to I schedule time in each day to goof off, meaning do something different from basketball. Like go read a book or go play video games. It's never video games anymore because then that turns into too long. But just do other things. And I have to do that because I can't. Otherwise, I'm not like it's not gonna. I am just so busy, and I was for years. I was playing in some pretty high stakes fantasy football leagues before I started doing NBA stuff on any real level, and I was doing fairly well in some of them too. And it just got to be so time consuming. And it felt like, oh my God, this guy hit the waiver wire or this guy is out. I have to go pick up the backup running back or the backup QB. And I was playing in one league where you started 2 QBs and there were 20 teams. So you had to like guess on backup QBs and it was all this craziness. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I quit cold turkey.
Yeah.
Like, I just done. No more fantasy football. I replaced it all with that. Like I spent a large chunk of this morning building out my initial take at a draft board. Like that's what I was doing because it was a light night. So I spent a lot of time in setting because college basketball starts next week. So I'm want to be ready and starting to build out a schedule of when I'm going to see these guys and how I'm going to build time in for that. So just I try to be so intentional with my time now that I don't want to spend it doing other stuff. And that's not a knock. If you love fantasy football, great. I mean, that's for sure. For me, it just wasn't going to fit more. We missed the super chat.
Did we?
Yeah. What do you guys think about all these TV analysis? I think it was supposed to be analysts saying Luke is Batman, AR is Robin, and Braun is Alfred. Who said that?
It's with somebody that wanted the hot take, that wanted the attention. Because you know what's going to happen. You're going to have LeBron fans get angry, and you're going to have LeBron haters celebrate. And either way, they're going to boost that comment and get into all of that. So it's strategic when you say stuff like that. Like LeBron is Alfred. No,
I don't think any of this is going to cause any drama with LeBron at all.
Gotta go. Happy Halloween, everybody. Go give out some candy. Let's go.
Yeah, guys, have fun. Be safe out there, right? It's, we here in Florida, it's chilly today, which is awesome. I love that it's kind of chilly with Halloween. Like, bring on fall, man. I am so ready. But what we do is actually everybody sits in their driveways or on their porches, and that's how you do candy. Like, there's very little go up and ring the bell here. So we'll be out there, but we see every year somebody's out there flying around the corners, running through the stop signs. Be careful. Nobody wants wherever you're rushing off to. Trust me, it's not worth the extra second where you could ruin someone else's lives and yours. It's dark. There's going to be a lot of kids out there, and you can't trust that a 5 or 6 year old who sees candy is going to be the one to make the smart decision. Make it yourself. Be smart. But have fun. It's a really, really fun holiday. Absolutely. Halloween's great. I love handing out the candy.
And if you have time, you've got a little bit of time before you go out tonight. We already talked about history. Dig into the history of Halloween. Very, very cool. The way a lot of different traditions have kind of melded together to create the Halloween that we have today. And take a look at what happened back in the early 1900s, actually more like 1930s, 1940s, and why we have essentially 2 Halloweens right now. You've got the princesses and knights and fun, cutesy stuff, and I'm going to dress up as a Ninja Turtle or a Minecraft character or whatever, and the scary, the ghouls, the goblins, and all that kind of stuff, and how legislation actually kind of created 2 different. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all of it or tell the story. You guys have the power of the internet at your hands. If you have some time, dig into the history of Halloween. Very, very cool stuff out there.
And when you're looking for something that's not hoops to watch, the Foods That Built America is unbelievable. Like the stories behind just things that we eat every day. There's a really good one on Hershey's and like how Hershey came to be. Like just spend a little bit of time with it and you'll be like, holy cow, this is great. So yeah, it's absolutely go nuts, have fun out there. Everybody be safe and happy Halloween.
Yep, I'm gonna go with this one. We're gonna roll with it. Thank you, everybody. Till next time. See ya and stay spooky.